Hi, this is Kelly, and it is day 39 of my 100-day juice feast. Sorry about the appearance. We just got back from the trampoline park again. We decided to try it a second time, and we had a blast as usual. Oops, trying to prop this up, but I'm having a hard time. Anyway, I uploaded a video of me trying to do the tightrope on with the foam pit again, and I had a little bit more success crawling out of the foam pit. There was also these like obstacle courses. They call it like this ninja obstacle course that I actually was able to do the easy one, and I was able to do like sort of half of a more challenging one, but I definitely need a lot more upper body strength before I'm going to be showing anybody that, but that's going to be a goal of mine. So we decided to go ahead and buy the winter pass. It only goes till March 15th, but it's unlimited. Well, Monday through Friday, you can go for an hour and a half. And so Tony and I are thinking about doing that for our exercise because it is fun, jumping up and down on the trampolines. It's a good workout. I mean, I'm sweating. My hair is wet from that. So yesterday I mentioned that I'm starting this new thing where if I'm really struggling, that I'm just telling myself, just get through today. All you have to do is get through today. You can decide what you want to do tomorrow. And of course, today um, was fine. I felt better today, and tomorrow will be day 40. So like Juicing Mama had said, there's always these new milestones right around the corner that you can also use to kind of get yourself through it. So of course on day 39, I'm not going to want to do something to not at least make it to day 40. And then once I'm day 40, then it's like, woo, I made it 40 days. So there's these little games, that you can play with your mind or yourself that gets you through the harder times, because there are hard times and then there are better times. And so, we were talking about how challenging it is. Like there were these little girls that were cruising through that ninja obstacle course like monkeys. And I remember when I was a kid, I used to do stuff like that all the time. I'd go through I don't know, are they called monkey bars? I don't even know what this stuff is called anymore. But like those ladders that you go across. I used to be able to do that. I used to have these like this bar that you would drape your back of your legs up over, and then you just kind of swing, and then you're sitting up on it and then climbing up. I mean, I could climb anything. It didn't even feel like it required strength at all. It just felt like it's like that's what you just do, like walking on the ground. It was not, none of that was ever challenging for me when I was little. And so I was saying, when you weigh like 40 pounds or whatever, it's a lot. You don't need as much upper body strength as when you're trying to hoist up 150, almost 150 pounds. And, just a month ago, it would have been almost 170 pounds. And at my heaviest in my life, I was 220 pounds, and I wouldn't have even gone to something like a trampoline park at 220 pounds. I mean, I probably wouldn't have done it at 200 at 180 pounds. It's just, I don't know, just the gift that health, when I talk to people about food addiction, people that are significantly overweight, that are in the obese category or morbidly obese, and I explained to them, that I'm whole food plant-based. This is before even starting juicing. And they would say, oh, I could never live without ice cream, or I could never live without whatever. And what's interesting about that is if I said, well, I could never live without alcohol, they would say, you're an alcoholic, you need to go to rehab or something. Or if a heroin addict says, well, I could never live without heroin. I mean, people wouldn't be like, oh, maybe you should just try it in moderation, or I totally get it. Yeah, I wouldn't want to live without heroin either. It's like, it's not okay to say I could never live without alcohol, or I could never live without heroin, or I could never live without gambling. But it is okay to say you could never live without cheese, or you could never live without ice cream, or I could never live without meat, or something like that. And everybody's totally okay with that. Nobody sees that as a really serious problem. And then people say, oh, my life would be so miserable without cheese, right? It wouldn't even be worth living. And it's like, your life isn't worth living now. I mean, I see people with these horrible mobility issues. They're in so much pain that they spend most of their days going back and forth to the doctor's office, or they can't go anywhere anymore. Like my aunt and uncle couldn't come to my wedding because it's so uncomfortable for them to be in a vehicle for the 4 hours it would take them to drive to where I live, that they said they're just not going to travel anymore. And they used to, I mean, they weren't like flying off to Europe or anything like that, but they would travel around the country and visit relatives, and that was one of their favorite things to do. And now they couldn't even make it to my wedding. My wedding, you know? I mean, I didn't get married until I was almost 50 years old. It was pretty much assumed that was never going to happen. So it was a big event, you know, and they wanted to be there and they couldn't be there. So it's stuff like that where when I was drinking, I couldn't imagine my life without alcohol. I really couldn't. I didn't know how I would get through a day. The only reason I quit, to be honest, was because I needed to get through my comprehensive exams in order to graduate from my PhD program. And I knew I'd never be able to do it. I had gone as far as I could go drinking. But in my mind, I kind of thought, well, you know, once I get through my comprehensive exams and all I have left is my dissertation, you know, then we would revisit this idea of whether, you know, of how long I was going to live this miserable life without alcohol. And as it turned out, my life was better than it had ever been. So I've already been on one side of addiction when I saw the story that addiction tells you in your head. You can't live without this, that your life will not be enjoyable. There won't be any pleasure if you don't have this, that, or the other, that you won't be able to get through your day. It won't be worth living. I've already heard addiction tell those lies to me, and I looked those lies in the face and I went to the other side of it and I found out that it wasn't true. None of it was true. And so that's what I'm riding on now. That's the faith that I'm going on now, because my addiction to food is saying, oh, can you imagine, you know, going on vacation and not being able to eat the buffets, or going to Italy and not being able to have the oh my God, what's that? The ice cream gelato, you know? Can you imagine doing this, that without oil and having the rest of your life like that? Going into restaurants and having to bring in your own dressing or only get a salad and have to pay $12 for a salad when everybody else is having the open faced roast beef sandwich or the fried this or that, you know? I feel all this self-pity when I think that what's life going to be without the taco pizza from Casey's? And it's a lie. It's the lie that addiction is telling me. And I know that if I can get to the other side of it, I'm going to see the truth on the other side. I'm going to see, you know, going through the obstacle course at the trampoline park. I'm going to see rock climbing, and I'm going to see running marathon when I'm in my 70s or so. You know what I mean? It's like that's what's on the other side. And you just have to have the faith that it's there. So anyway, that's really all I had to say today. And I will catch you all tomorrow. And you just keep coming back.